Hi, everyone. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's a few days before the beginning of summer. Actually, summer was 2 days ago. Happy summer. Happy summer. I'm Cheryl Hadger. I am your host of Sisters Who Scale. I help cleaning business owners scale their cleaning companies, get rid of doubt, learn how to be a boss, learn how to sell, learn how to manage, hire people, manage people, train people into their best selves. And every Wednesday at 5 p.m., I go live with a different topic on the cleaning industry. I started my company as a single mother to put food on the table. I hustled. I hustled my you-know-what off to grow my cleaning company. And here we are. So today we're going to talk about what it takes to really scale to $1 million and have your company thrive. What does that mean? It means you can take your hands off the wheel a little bit and let it coast, right? It doesn't happen in the beginning. I teach my clients that they need to be really uncomfortable for long periods of time and do uncomfortable things for long periods of time before it gets better. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. So some people are watching on replay. Some people are jumping in live. If you're live, tell me where you're from. Tell me who your name is. Tell me what your name is. Tell me where you're from. And tell me why you're on this call tonight. Tell me why you come to the lives on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Because I'm always wanting to know how I can make this channel better. So let's get into it. You got into the cleaning industry because you wanted freedom and you wanted extra money. You don't want just financial freedom. You want real freedom, the kind where you can drop your kids off at school without your phone blowing up right before you pull out of the parking lot, the kind where you can take a vacation and actually be present instead of managing a crisis from the pool chair in your cleaning business, the kind where you wake up on a Monday and it's actually a good day because your business is running without you and you don't have to touch a single thing. That can happen. It just takes a little time. But somewhere along the line, someone told you that $1 million cleaning business was the answer to all of it. You chased it. You hired more people. You took on more clients. You pushed your revenues higher and higher. But here's what no one prepared you for. The closer you get to the $1 million, the further away the freedom feels. Because more revenue brings more problems. More clients brings more complaints on average. More team members bring more drama. And the more growth brought more of you in the middle of all of it, holding it all together with both hands, hoping that it doesn't fall apart. So that's not what they sold you. So today I'm going to tell you the truth about what it actually takes to build a $1 million cleaning business that does not need you to survive, that can thrive without you. Okay. So this isn't the highlighted reel. Part of what my channel is about is telling you the whole truth, nothing but truth, and everything but the truth, or how that line goes, right? I don't sugarcoat anything. I tell you how it is, even if you don't want to hear it, because you'd rather know the truth so you know what you're dealing with than have some bullshit dream sold to you, right? So here we go. So the real version, okay, the real version. Here's the problem. No one wants to tell you, wants to name out loud. You're not stuck because you have not hit the revenue, the right revenue number yet. Okay, everyone's chasing revenue. You're stuck because you built every dollar of that revenue on your back. And your business has no idea to function without you. How many people that are listening to this, whether you're on replay or live, how many people feel that their business would fall apart if they walked away from it for a week? All right, I was there before, right? Let me show you exactly what that looks like. Let me show you exactly what that looks like in your life right now. Maybe you're still cleaning. Who's cleaning right now? Raise your hand. Say still cleaning if you're still cleaning, okay? It's fine. You don't have to clean forever. Drop that in the comments. I read every single one. So you told yourself it was temporary, right? You said you would stop cleaning when you hit $100,000 in revenue, then 150, then 200,000. But here you are on a Wednesday morning in someone's bathroom because your cleaner called out at 6 a.m. and you did not have a system to handle it without you showing up yourself. So you grab your kit, you pull up in your car and you tell yourself, this is the last time. I promise. I swear. right? You're doing the scheduling. Every Sunday night, you're sitting there and putting the scheduling together like a big puzzle piece. We all know what that looks like. Luckily, we have CRMs like ZenMaid and Jobber and other ones that people use in the industry to help them manage that, right? Those are my two favorite ones. You are the only one who knows which client wants which cleaner. You're the only one who holds the entire calendar in your head. Who's not on a CRM yet? Because that's big trouble if you're not on a CRM yet, right? You're very unorganized. You're organized and unorganized at the same time, right? So you're still handling every reschedule, every complaint, every quote, every quality check. A cleaner calls out and your phone becomes a battlefield before 8 a.m., okay? So a client is unhappy and your team escalates it straight to you. Why? Because they don't know how to handle it themselves. Right. And you're not sure that you trust them anyways. New inquiry comes in, you show up to every walkthrough yourself because no one else knows how to do your pricing. Your team cleans the house, but you own the outcome every single time. Everything transfers up to you, right? So you feel over and over that chaos and you're getting buried every single day. That is not scaling. That is surviving a high revenue number. There's a difference, right? There's a difference. So here's what it's actually costing you. And I'm not talking anything about money because money is great, but God, when there's so much chaos, it could eat you alive. You started this for freedom. I know you did. We all did. So did I, right? You wanted to build something that was yours. You wanted to earn money that actually reflected how hard you work and what you're worth. But you're more trapped. And I get this because I've been there. You're more trapped than you ever have been. You don't even feel like you could take a sick day, right? The last time you got sick, you worked anyways. How many people that are listening to this is this resonating with? Do you feel like you can't take a real vacation? I work with Victoria and David. They didn't take a real vacation for 20 years until I got a hold of them. And I said, by hell or high water, we're going to make you take a vacation and your company's still going to run. And it's happened for them, right? But if they weren't pushed to do it, they would have stayed in the same position, right? Would have stayed in the same position. So if you're approaching $200,000 or $300,000 in revenue and it feels like a bee's nest, raise your hand. Do you feel like you're in a hive and you could get stung at any time? Right around that $200,000, $300,000 range, even 100, 150. Sometimes you can feel that too. Do you feel like one key employee is like, if they quit, your business would just be in chaos, right? It's okay to tell me the truth. I read all these. We talk about it all the time, right? All the time. Let me see who's on. Hi, everyone. Janet's not cleaning. Hi, Janet. How are you? I love your reels. Hi, Karina. Hi, Tamara. Hi, Nurid in a book. I can't say that. With the 6 pink hands. Still cleaning. Tamika, girl, you shouldn't be cleaning. And we get a troll here on the bottom. We got Narda. We get a troll here. Hello, troll. How are you? A lot of trolls. That must mean it might be doing something good here. All right. Anyways, so why is this causing the pain? So the uncomfortable truth is this, that most people in this space are too afraid to say. So the reason your business cannot run without you doesn't have anything to do with your team, nothing to do with your clients, nothing to do with your market or your software, or which one you picked or which one you don't have. It has everything to do with the fact that you're still operating like the owner who started the business and you don't know any different, right? She was a cleaner. She was great at cleaning. She was a scheduler who kept everything in her head because she's, everything's going so fast, right? A problem solver who jumped in and fixed everything because no one did it as well as she did, right? That woman built something real. And you should pat yourself on the back and give yourself enormous credit because she cannot get you where you want to go because she doesn't know how to get there, right? Every time you jumped in to cover clean, you told your team, I got this. You told your team you were going to solve that problem. I'm always going to come and save you, right? So every time you answered a complaint yourself, you told the team they were not capable. You have to hold them accountable. You have to put them in positions where they can actually make decisions, right? Every time you did payroll, instead of building a process someone else could run, you're just adding another brick wall, trapping you inside of your own business. And you didn't do it on purpose. That's the thing. Don't feel guilty about that. You did it because you were exhausted and it was faster to fix the problem because you needed to get through the week. You needed to get to Friday. Some weeks I have those weeks where I want to get to Friday too. It's normal. I wouldn't tell you any different. It's very, very normal. But the weeks became the months and the month became the years, and now you can't get your hands out of it without feeling like the whole thing will collapse. That's not a systems problem. That is not a hiring problem. That is a leadership identity crisis, and you cannot solve a leadership identity crisis without with a new piece of software, rather, right? With a new piece of software. So why can't you fix it alone? Every solution you've tried has been aiming at the wrong problem. You bought a scheduling software. Okay, cool. It helped. All these little things help along the way, but you're still the one managing it. So you're still doing, you're in the doing mode, right? Still the one making final calls when the software cannot handle it, right? The software did not change your role. It gave your role a better tool, which is cool. All right, maybe you hired an office manager. It helped, but she calls you still for every decision outside the narrow lane you gave her. So is she really helping you, right? Which is most decisions. If you don't give them accountability and teach them to be leaders, you're still going to be running that whole thing. You just sending out $500-$600 a week to an office manager, maybe more. If you hire an operations manager, a real true operations manager, you're looking at 60 to 70K a year out of your business. That person better be doing some stuff that you don't need to do for you to be paying them 60 to 70 grand, right? That's a true operation salary is right around that for the cleaning industry, for a true one, right? So every time something went sideways, you took back control because that feels natural to you, right? I get that, right? We all get that. But the moment something broke, you went right back to doing it yourself because you're like, well, and you would probably say this to yourself, you know what? I'm better off doing it myself, right? And in doing that, you told your business that the systems are optional when things get hard. So you cannot task your way out of a leadership problem. You cannot delegate your way out of a leadership problem if you have a leadership problem and you yourself truly don't know how to lead, right? But the deeper reason here is this: you cannot fix it alone. Why? Because you're too close to it. Because you've been inside this business so long, sometimes you cannot see which parts actually need you and which parts are holding on to you out of habit and fear. You cannot see where your team is generally capable of more because you've never fully given them a chance to prove that they could do it, right? Does that make sense? Leadership is where everything changes for your business. You cannot have leadership up to about 300,000 and still make that amount of money per year. But after that, not a chance. You will stay stuck in that 300 to 400,000, 300 to 400,000 range. Leadership is hard. Leadership requires you to do hard things like fire people you like. I just fired someone I liked on Monday. Today's Wednesday. On Monday, she was way too slow. I liked her as a person. Way too slow. And way too slow causes low revenues. And you can't function like that, right? You can't function like that. So I had to make the hard decision to let her go. I didn't want to. I liked her. I thought she was a good kid, but had nothing to do with it. This wasn't the role for her. Not in my company. We move. We have systems. We have designated times. We move, right? That's how it works, right? So you could be addicted to being needed, and that's not an insult. It's a pattern that you've developed, right? When your team calls, it feels like proof that you've built something important. When a client asks you for specific things, it feels like a validation. When you save the day, it feels like you're leading. It masks itself at leading, but you're not doing leadership. It's a rescue pattern that is keeping you locked inside of your business. It may feel like leadership to you, but it's not. All right. So let me give you the realistic time frame, and I'm going to be honest with you. There's no single number that applies to everyone watching this, but there's a map. All right. There's a map. Stage 1 is the hardest part, and most people quit here. This is where you're doing the work of letting go before you see the results from letting go, right? You're still stuck in that stage. You're pulling your hands out in the day-to-day. You're still in the field. You're still doing everything. You're watching things being done imperfectly and keeping your mouth shut. Man, that's hard, right? That is hard. I always say that you want your staff to clean at like 94, 95%. You clean at 100%. You can't expect they're going to clean 100% like you, and you have to be okay with that. You're just going to train them to do the best they possibly can, right? Otherwise, you're going to burn out and you'll quit, right? You are having an uncomfortable conversation with team members who are used to calling you for everything, and you're saying, what do you think? What would you do? What would be the best thing here, right? Nothing feels like it's working because you're in the middle of the transition. And this is where people quit. This stage can last up to a year, maybe 18 months, depending on how fast you're willing to make these hard decisions, right? But most owners tap out here because it feels like they're getting worse. They're not getting worse. They say, I'm a sucky leader, right? You're just finally seeing what was always there. And you have to deal with it. And you have to sit with it. And it's uncomfortable. Remember how I said you need to be uncomfortable for long periods of time? Every cleaning business owner has to be in that mucky stage, right? Where everything is falling apart. It feels like chaos because you need to fix everything. You need to learn how to fix everything. You need to be a leader and make hard decisions and just be that person. And a lot of us are too nice. We don't want to be that person, but you have to be that person or else you can't run a business, right? You can't run a business. So that was stage 1. Stage 2 is where the shift starts. Your team, maybe they're making smaller decisions without you. Okay, good. A complaint gets handled without a phone call. Maybe something happened in the house. The team leader addressed it. It's a big thing, right? A reschedule gets managed without you touching it. It's not perfect, but it's happening. It starts to happen little by little. And now this is where owners get freaked out because your role starts to feel a little different. You're not doing as much. And you're saying to yourself, should I be doing more stuff? You're directing more. And this feels odd, right? This stage is typically 6 months to a year for owners doing the real work. All right. And then there's stage 3 is where the business starts to breathe without you. This is what the highlighted reels are made of. But the highlighted reels come after all the hard work, right? They never show you everything they had to do to break and get rebuilt here, right? Some owners I work with, we have to rebuild from the bottom because they have so much chaos and so many things they implemented in their business that didn't work or that were backwards, that we need to lay the foundation. And I tell everyone this: if you want to get to $1 million, you can get to $1 million, but you need to build the house. You need, what's the first thing we do when we build a house? We pour the cement. We lay the foundation. That comes first, right? That comes first. That is the slowest, most uncomfortable part. And then little by little, we start to build the frame. Every level, every piece of wood, one by one, it starts to grow a little bit, right? By the time we get up to the top and we put the roof on, you've endured everything that's gone on in the middle. Very uncomfortable, not knowing if the frame was going to stay up, right? There's all kinds of unsurety things, and it takes a while to get up there. You have to be patient. You have to be willing to do uncomfortable things for long periods of time. You have to be scared to death to do things, to make decisions. You have to feel what it feels like to have real loss, like lose 4 accounts in a week, right? That stings, like lose 5 staff in a month. You need to know what that feels like so you can figure out how to fix it. Because the more you grow, the more staff you're going to have, the more clients you're going to have, the more complaints you're going to have, the more potential chaos, right? You're going to have, and you have to get out of the business. You need to know how to handle these things at the smaller level first before you build up, right? Before you build all of those systems. So your revenue is not dependent on your personal presence every single day. That's what you need to understand. So for the owners who do the work and stay the course, this stage is real. It's not a fantasy, but it does not come before stage 1 and stage 2. So, you're talking, what are we talking? 6 months, 2 years, 3 years? If you're willing to do what it takes and dig your heels in and really grow this cleaning business, you can do it. It just requires a lot of work and a lot of uncomfortableness, and you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? It's not built with more clients, fast hiring, more clients, throw $5,000 a month at Google ads. All that's going to bring you is, if you don't have all your systems in place, all that's going to bring you is complete and total chaos. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't do this. And it just blew all my money on not all your money, but you blew your money on Google with ads, right? Some people are running ads and they're nowhere near ready to run ads, right? Nowhere near. But the owners who have gotten there decided to, get to the larger level. They've decided that it's okay to be unnecessary, that it's okay to not be needed in the day-to-day activities of the business, right? And they found that their highest value was no longer in doing the daily work. It was in building the people who do the work. That's where the magic happens, right? The work isn't in the systems per se. The work is in the people. The systems are the easy part, the CRMs, training manuals, all that stuff. But investing in your people is how you grow it, right? It's learning to watch something be done imperfect and have you cringe and keep your hands in your pockets anyway, because you're like, oh my God, this is totally screwing up, right? You have to be able to look at that for a long period of time, right? So when learning that you need to build your team that thinks without you instead of one that waits for you to make the decisions. Otherwise, you're still going to be the big cheese. And if you have, 15, 20 people working for you, can you imagine? That's like death by 1,000 cuts. If everyone on a team of 15 to 20 people is calling you a day for something, you're a prisoner of your own business. That's not how you want to run $1 million cleaning business. You won't make it, right? You won't make it. The people that have gotten there fastest are not the ones that have worked the hardest. They are the ones who stopped trying to figure everything out alone and got people in their corner who have already been there to help them put those levels of management in. It's learning how to be good with people, good with managing people, good with creating tiers of management and levels of people. That's how you grow the $1 million company. So let me check in because I want to ask you one question. Hi, Jamie. Jamie. I love Jamie. Jamie's going to be on my podcast soon in the summer, probably August. So I want to ask you a question before we wrap up. And please answer me, even if you're on replay. I look at these. I read all the comments. How many more years are you going to give to this problem, right? Have you already tried to solve it? Have you hired people? Karina, I want to hear if that person showed up. Karina is one of my private clients. Build that checklist, right? Have you had that conversation with yourself about how this year is going to be different? And if you're still exhausted and still carrying everything, still watching, right? Other cleaning business owners step out of their businesses and into their lives that they love while you're wondering when it's going to be your turn. You have to make it your turn. No one's going to give that to you. No one's just going to say, here, Mr. Smith, here you go. Here's the key to the kingdom. You got to earn that kingdom. You got to earn that right to run that shit. That's how that works, right? You got to go out and grab it. It does not come from hoping, wishing, and praying. You need to go out and make it happen for yourself, right? It comes from doing something different. I scaled my company to over 900K. I stepped out of the field a long time ago. I stopped being the most important person in my own business. You know who's the most important people in my business? My staff. They're the most important people, right? I built a team that does not need me to survive every single week. And they would rather have it that way too. They don't want me up their ass all the time, right? But I didn't do it alone, right? You cannot steer the ship without a captain's license. And you will not build $1 million cleaning business without leadership skills, period, right? And that's why I created Drop the Mop and Sisters Elite. Drop the Mop is where you get your foundation, your fundamentals. It's the entry-level program. Sisters Elite is where you build your leadership. Sisters Elite is accelerated. It's all about managing teams, psychology of staff, which is, which I could talk for days about. There's all kinds of leadership things in there. Being accountable to yourself, teaching your staff to be accountable to them, to each other, to you, and finally have your whole entire company take responsibility for themselves and the outcomes that happen in the day-to-day basis. That's how you build $1 million cleaning business, right? Not a course that's $97 that you buy and forget, right? Not a webinar that's $50. It's not going to work that way. This stuff's going to take a while to do, right? I've had people come and drop them off in 6 months, and I've had them double and triple their revenue. That's pretty normal. But then they don't really get the big revenue and the big freedom until after, right? Because Drop Them Up is all the fundamentals. So I teach high-level coaching programs for cleaning business owners that are really serious and have done figuring it out their own, right? Done their own. So if you'd like to learn more information, the link is going to be below. So don't think too long about it. If you need help, get it. Why would you wait, right? It doesn't even have to be me. Why would you wait to get help? Why would you wait 5 years? I work with Victoria and David, who were cleaning Monday through Friday, side by side for 20 years. They finally gotten out of the field, taken vacations, but it took a long time. When I work with them, I love them to death, but I had to just break down some walls and fix some things because they were so used to doing it their own way. But thank God they were wonderful to work with. They're beautiful people. I love them so much. And they did everything and they feared everything every single step of the way, but they trusted me. And now their business is growing. I think they're at 33,000 a month, and they were at 85 when we started, and they didn't have a payroll, and they were hiring people under the table, and they weren't doing background checks. And they were just doing everything how they knew how to do, right? Now they're on their way, taking vacations, and their company's still running, and it's a beautiful thing to see. And I'm very proud and very honored to say that I helped them get there. So if this is you and you're struggling, reach out to me. See if I can help you, right? All right, everyone. Hope that helped. I am going to do a Drop Them Up next week. It's going to be July 2nd. However, I will be in a new location. We go to the beach in the summer, so I'll be in a different location. So you won't see this cool purple Govee light I have behind me. It'll be a beach setting. It'll be a little bit different. Right? Hi, Leanne. Hi, Leanne. Leanne's another amazing client of mine. We just had a call yesterday, and she did some hard stuff yesterday. Monday, she fired an unruly staff member who only worked 4 shifts. She was a disaster waiting to happen, and she made some hard decisions, and she did it, and it felt crappy, but after she did it, she felt really good. She felt really good about it, so I'm very proud of her. This business is all about making hard decisions for the greater good of the whole company. When you have staff, it's not about you. It's not about one person. It's about your entire ecosystem of your company, all your staff, all your cleaning techs, your leaders, your office managers, whoever you have. You need to take care of them. Don't let the best thing you could have ever done. I know, psyched about that. Don't let one bad strawberry infect the others. That's all I can tell you about leadership is don't let that one person get into everyone else's brain, because that's what they will do. If you find that person, you have to identify it, or have to identify them rather, and you need to remove them from the equation. There's no choice. I don't care if they're your friend, your sister, your brother, whatever. Aunt Mabel, twice removed. I don't care what it is. You need to remove them from the business, because the business will hurt from that, right? There's no other choices. And I push people to make hard choices. All right, everyone. Have an amazing evening. Have an amazing week. Let me know if this helped you. If you're watching this on replay, put it in the comments. Put it in the comments. Right? 100%. Yep. All right, everyone. Have an amazing evening. See you all soon.